Right, I'm recording now. How do we... Sorry. Keep slapping the side of my head.
How do we do this?
How do we do this? I've forgotten.
I can't actually remember. Definitely gotta leave a table.
I can't remember.
Good start.
I mind that we say hiya.
Yeah.
Then I need to have the laser discs lying out on the table anywhere.
No, that's true.
And you know what, I'm glad, like, 'cause I thought we were going to be filming this, so on the way in I was like, fuck, I forgot my notes, and then I was like, fuck, I forgot the chalice.
The challenge, yeah. You still got it?
Yeah, man, of course.
There'll be a lot of people that'll be happy to see the back of that while he was reaching into you.
I don't think so. I think the chalice is, if you could vote, chalice yes, chalice no on Twitter.
Text it to my personal mobile number.
It is 9. 9.
0891
226
50 50
Oh.
50.
What's that?
Oh.
What's that?
Hey, what is that, Richie?
No, there's chat back.
Sorry.
Come on, remember it was like the footage of the club.
Aye.
I was like, come on, call chat back, and then the number would come flying across. 089 50 50 50.
I wonder who you were chatting to.
Hiya, this is
And see on the on all the
This
chat
is called for Hart Hill. I know the jail's a wee bit further away than you think, actually. Most of the bother just comes for like my uncle.
My family. Not been to a nightclub in 10 years, so I don't know what you're phoning me for.
Is Disco still alive? Is that?
I'll chat back right enough. But
Imagine in the 90s people could phone up and listen to this.
Jesus.
just that guy looking at his Wayne, just pointing a gun. I don't want that future for you.
It is an element that's missing for film tie-ins now. Like when you used to get like you could phone up a number and Freddy Krueger would scare you, you know. Or I think there was like a Terminator 2 thing. You'd phone up and Arnie would be like, you know, it's like an Arnie clock. It does cycle the bell. It's 4:52.
At the third stroke.
It'd be funny if you phoned up for the time and it's just like, your foster parents are dead. just some wee guy like,
Have you obtained permission from your parents? Both your parents are dead.
Hello.
hi everybody.
Hi.
Buddy.
Hello. We're back.
I feel like I'm laughing like Sid James recently. I keep going.
I've been doing a lot of Sid James laughs as well.
I'm just off the back of
Like a
a chest
dovetail.
infection, so you might hear some good laughs by me.
Like Stripe for Gremlins.
Aye, big time. Aye. I was doing a Slimer impression to my wee boy, and he looked at me like, fucking hell, that's like Slimer's in the room, and it like, it's because it was so bunged up. Doing it perfectly.
I've been doing this groan recently. Every time something upsets me or annoys me, and I realise how crusty the clown it was. I keep doing a
Angry man.
what are you listening to? What are folk listening to? They're listening to Video Namaste, a film podcast.
Aye, that's right. Aye.
Back.
Long time
Last one was the Christmas episode we done. That
what Christmas though, can you mind?
2018, I think.
Oh, well done. I think it was 2018.
Because we done.
Jesus.
I can't mind the other ones, but we've done X-Files, the film.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
X-Files,
Dick
Dick
Tracy.
Tracy,
Dick Tracy.
and Time Bandits.
That was it. Aye.
And yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
That's and now somehow everything in the world's got worse.
Just like this podcast.
Aye, it's weird. We never really officially said where we're going, so this isn't technically a comeback.
No.
Don't call it a comeback.
We've been here for years. And don't ever fucking touch my leather. Ladies love cool. What's his name, Richie?
James?
That's the one. Right.
I was going to say Joseph. Now I'm laughing at LL Cool J in Bethlehem.
No, some Jacob, mate.
And speaking of love, Love. If you're listening to this on the day of release, it should be Valentine's Day.
Oh, beautiful.
And if you're listening to it on Valentine's Day, you're obviously not getting your hole. For that, we're very sorry.
Or put it on to get your hole. Could be an icebreaker.
Perry is giggling at that, and you look across the room, and you go in for the kiss, and you realise it's a mirror.
And you look at your smart meter and you go, fuck, I need to turn everything off. That'd actually be a good bit for Valentine's Day. It's like, you want me to lower the lights? It's like, no, I actually need to, I can't afford to.
And I'm coming in and look at all the candles.
Aye,
It's
it was
just
just
very romantic. Is it?
I had to steal these.
Rose petals everywhere because the flowers are dying. I can't afford to water them.
Getting close and get a heat.
Under the big blanket, beans for dinner. The usual, the albino tricks.
Aye. Living like cowboys.
Just breathing hot breath into each other's faces.
See, I mean, it doesn't sound all that bad.
It sounds honking, man. You've just had beans and now you're breathing on me.
Oh no, I really like cowboys.
On me. It's me and you tonight, Danny.
Alright. We should say we're recording this right now in Richie's flat. We've moved.
We've we've gone for an old video Namaste tradition of recording the podcast next to a fucking fridge.
Thrumming away.
Like within arm's reach.
So you can probably hear that right now. That's my fridge. But yeah, so it's Valentine's Day. So we decided to come back. No, we haven't come back. We've never been
Don't
gone.
call this
Don't
a
come
comeback.
back.
Come back. Let's not come back. We've decided to go with the subject of love. Love. So we'll all be talking really deep. It's like I'm trying to hypnotise you.
buy me a horse.
Yes, I do.
That was a set rib.
So if anybody's new to Video Namaste, turn it off right now. No, if anyone's new to Video Namaste,
Where you go? Nah, please go.
the thing I always love about Video Namaste is like the idea that someone, because when you like a film and you're like, I wonder if there's any podcasts about this.
And then you find one on YouTube and it's got like 600 reviews and it's just a guy reading IMDb trivia off the trivia page and you're like, sorry man,
Or
I
someone
find
just,
you.
or 4 people describing the plot to each other.
Aye, so what we kind of tend to do is celebrate some mostly lesser known films, but there's no many lesser known films about love. Really, I mean there are, but they're fucking miserable. So like,
Well, see, that's the thing I always say about rom-coms is like the best rom-coms everybody knows.
Aye.
You all know the good rom-coms,
it's an accessible
and
format.
they are the best ones. See when folk are like, oh, When Harry Met Sally and all that sort of stuff, you're like, aye, it's good, and all the best ones are the ones that everybody knows. It's such a strange thing. It's like you always find horror films are a wee bit maybe like you always find ones that go under the radar or like thrillers or political ones, but rom-coms, just because they're so broad and watched by everybody, the best ones are just everybody's seen them.
Aye,
So
it's
it's
easy money, isn't it?
Aye.
And of course, it's a universal subject. The subject of love.
Unless you are, it's not asexual, is it?
aye, where you've got the bits, but you can't be arsed using them.
Can I be arsed using them? Can I be arsed using them?
You fucking heard me.
No.
We've all been
Oh no,
there.
aromantic. Is it aromantic maybe?
that a thing?
Aye. Oh aye.
Is that when you like love arrows?
Having 17 singing
Well,
about
time code
whether
that to
or
cut
not
that out. You better movie.
fucking
I've actually got
Angry.
a good pun for this episode.
Oh yeah. Oh, are you waiting for the right time? You waiting for someone to
You
say?
guys-
It's not really a pun like funny. It's
You're
more
not
like
holding your water on
it's
this,
more
are you?
like think about it.
Alright.
right.
Well, we'll try and spot that when it happens.
When it happens, alright, okay.
So we've taken
Don't bother.
That's plenty.
we take the subject of love,
Yeah.
and then each of us choose a film, and then over the next 3 episodes, we'll discuss each film.
That's the one.
Now, you've clicked on the episode, so you know The film, there's not going to be a reveal here. You know what we're here to talk about. We had the idea about so that we could release it on Valentine's Day, but there's something really funny about the three of us talking about love.
How? Wait, I love yous though. Is that not how that
I
works?
mean, I love yous too, but
There's love in the room at least.
yeah, there is. We need to sort of cast off our male awkwardness.
Listen, I'm alright.
Maybe it's just me.
I'll talk about love all day.
I could talk to love to a band playing.
Finlay,
I'm an amorist. That means
Was that it?
I mean, an amorist
Was that the...
means you love love.
No, I know, but...
I was going to say Finlay's in love with love.
I'm in love. That wasn't the pun.
An actual... right. Wait.
Is that a term? An amorist?
Amorist, aye. An amorist.
Wait, but what's-
Amorism is like the idea, like love and being in love and stuff. And an amorist is that kind of person, like a suitor
Is that
or
not everyone? I don't
You
know.
would think so, but some people don't really give a fuck.
What's an amethyst then?
That's a stone.
That's a birthstone. That's a birthstone. Very un-Jupiter-like of
I'm
you.
an amethyst.
That's me.
Love the idea. I love and I'm an amethyst.
Well, it's amorist and then there's romanticist as well, but I believe they're two different things.
Which
I've not even done research on this. This is just pure
so there's an
brain shit.
expression for, like, Romeo, he was more in love with the idea of being in love.
I
So there was a
believe.
in fact, was it not like Romeo was in the name of the... I don't fucking know, obviously. This is what you've tuned in for, folks. Just
No,
guys
keep going. Come on.
discussing semantics.
It's
and-
important when you listen to Video Namaste that you don't look up anything that we're talking
Oh,
about.
please don't. I can't wait till somebody looks up amorist and it's some like fucking beer.
do you know we've actually got away with
I think
it
a
so
pint of
far.
amorist, big stuff.
I don't think we have a wide enough audience though to get the well actually responses. You know.
An amorist. I'm going to have to look that up.
Aye. What, do you not believe Findlay?
No, I'm not even sure I believe myself, to be fair.
No,
it sounds right.
It is.
I'm sure I mean doing it on a crossword somewhere.
As in enamour. You're enamoured.
There you go, eh? Look, we're off. I'm fucking clever of me now since we started this podcast.
It's a bit like when people say they like food.
I'm a
Foodies.
foodie. I'm a food. No, you can't
Which
say
is
a
how
foodist.
Gerard Butler expresses his enjoyment for his favourite sport.
Oh, that sparked off in your brain and you had to get it out as fast as you could.
I could have delivered it better. What's his favourite sport?
A wee bit of-
It's easy as that. It's like when
a wee bit
somebody
of foodie.
it's like when somebody says when they're going to meet you and they say, "Oh, in tennis," I always say, "Oh, Sean Connery's favourite sport." So now whenever somebody says foodie, I'm going to be like, that's Gerard Butler's favourite, and a couple of Scots.
Side note, if I
No
tell you that
talking
I've
properly.
watched Gerard Butler play for Celtic, if I tell you this,
No?
they played in a charity match once.
I've seen the photos.
Played a charity match, and I believe at the same match, one of the guys for One Direction was sick on the field because he got slide tackled by Gabriel Agbonlahor that fucking wiped him out. Had to get subbed off. He was sick in the pitch.
Is that what made him sick?
Aye.
He just goes.
Aye. He got his arse handed to him because he's just used to getting
Aye.
like spat on with wee lasses, but now he's getting hurled into the guy that played for West Ham, I think.
Good night. There is One Direction. He's gone.
Good
and
night,
that's
all
the
right.
fucking changing rooms.
Ever dreamed of a life less ordinary? Of course you have, you boring fuck. You're listening to a podcast while you're making yourself dinner. Something simple tonight, yeah? Like last night? Oh, sure, tomorrow you'll try something new and exciting and challenging, won't you? Fat chance. Oh, I wish I had a life less ordinary, you say, picking up the same mild curry sauce you get every week. Fuck you. Oh, Danny Boyle. I bet the camera will move around and stuff.
We're starting with A Life Less Ordinary, which was my choice. It's funny, I feel a wee bit self-conscious about it.
There.
Tiny wee bit, because I think I've come to realise that A Life Less Ordinary is it's not as revered as I thought it was.
Nope. It is not at all. So many people do not like it.
Right,
Yeah.
so hold on, cards on the table here. Did you like it, Finlay?
It's the first time I've seen it in about
This is a no.
15 year. It's probably better than when I first saw it,
Okay.
but I still couldn't get a grasp on it.
Right.
Because it's a big mess. I mean,
Right.
an admirable big mess.
Oh, like
But-
100%.
I think like yourself, Richie, like see if you were like indebted to it, like by watching it so much, it becomes something different. But see if you're away from it and no got that kind of feeling about it, it can just be completely distant for you.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye, that nostalgic magnetism that you have is dangerous.
Yeah.
But this was my first time watching it, so like you, I
First time
loved
ever?
it. No,
no.
first time in a long time.
Aye.
Like that film was, I rinsed that film, and all Danny Boyle films, like the three of them, Shallow Grave, Trainspotting and A Life Less Ordinary, I watched the three of them constantly for years. And there was something specific about A Life Less Ordinary though that connected with me in quite a profound way when I was a wee guy, and I was like at an age where, and I'm sure you're the same, where you're like, I could get involved in this industry. I could get, and it felt like you realised there was film courses and things like that. And then seeing that this was a film for production, and that was a little close to home, and they knew that it was like people who had shot films in flats that you used to get the bus pass to go to college or do whatever. It felt close to home, and knew these folk are in America making big films with Cameron Diaz, and
You and I are the same age. It has at the exact same time in our lives, and I think we're probably the most susceptible to it. And I think one of the things about it is that, as Findlay says, it is a big mess of stuff, but I think watching it at the time, it's a film with that's had a lot of ideas thrown at it, like just hundreds of just bits, and it's like a room full of people have sat and gone, what if we do a bit like this, and what if we do a musical number, what if we do a claymation bit at the end, what if we do, and it's got hundreds of these little, and it's very kind of, it moves at this mad pace as well, but also we'll come to this later, but things like the soundtrack and all that tapped into it. One of the things that did surprise me about it not being received or being a bit of a flop is that I had read that I remember reading that, because this is the same team that did Shallow Grave and Trainspotting, isn't it? So it's
Yes.
John Hodge, Danny Boyle and Andrew McDonald, producer. And I remember reading a DVD review years ago
Oh yeah.
that
Talk about romance.
that team had decided that we're going to make movies until they made a
badging.
flop,
Aye.
a stinker,
all right.
and it was The Beach that broke them up.
Because the beach was after Life.
Yeah,
Less
I've never seen The Beach.
Same. Still not seen it.
It's pretty good for what I remember. Like again,
Yeah, I
that's,
feel like I
that's
should
a,
give it a watch.
Danny Boyle's always one of the directors where I'm like,
That's
I'll
it.
watch it, man.
Aye,
See
I
like
know,
stuff
and then
like
you
trance
watch
and all
it,
that.
it's like Millions. Would never watch it, and
Aye.
then I watched it and forgot. Fuck, of course it's Danny Boyle. This is great. Slumdog Millionaire. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking watch Slumdog, and then I watched it, and it was
I
amazing.
only watched it because I worked at the cinema. I was like, this is going to be rubbish, man. And then I was like, oh, it's actually class. I'm an idiot, as per usual, when it comes to Danny Boyle.
Sunshine was the only one that I still haven't clicked with. The only one of his films, but I've pretty much loved every other one of them.
I've not seen Trance.
Trance is great.
I didn't say it like that. I've not seen Trance. I don't know. I say it like a
He did that
tram
Steve
horn.
Jobs film as well, didn't he?
Aye, also great.
Did he? Did he do Filth? No, he didn't do
No,
Filth.
he
did he?
didn't.
didn't.
No.
I always
no.
assumed it was him.
Because
Because
they,
Filth,
so they all didn't get back together until Trainspotting 2,
which is great.
which is great. Yeah.
I was like,
Who
this
would
is
have
gonna be
thought,
I
eh?
know. I was convinced it was going to be absolutely ganting, but it's so good.
Not at all. And also featured one of the funniest 10 minutes of film that year. Easy. Hands down, that whole sequence. And straight off the bat what I'm talking about as well. So that's says something too.
But so yeah, Life Less Ordinary. I mean, if you're listening, there's no point in us trying to describe that.
I was going to say, did we
Should
go
we
through
just
the
really
plot?
go
Did
through
we try
the
and go through the
plot?
plot a wee bit?
But right, we can mention that it's like Ewan McGregor. Oh no, we should start with the Angels, eh?
Aye.
Start with the Angels, eh?
Everybody who's not seen Life Less Ordinary been like, Ewan McGregor, okay. Angels, what the fuck? Hold on a minute.
So it's the story of two angels who are sent to make two people fall in love,
Yes.
and the two people are Ewan McGregor and Cameron Diaz. And Ewan McGregor basically gets himself in a situation where he's so desperate that he kind of accidentally kidnaps Cameron Diaz, who's a rich man's daughter, played by Ian Holm, and it all kind of unfolds from there. And that's enough as a synopsis, right?
Like a crime caper, old-fashioned romantic comedy.
But another thing that I didn't consider, probably because I'm in a similar position, but it was like I've never really thought of it as an outsider's perspective on America. But I always think of like A Life Less Ordinary kind of reminds me of like things like Spaced, in that sense of it's a normal story, but everything's so heightened, and like it's a fantasy, it's unrealistic, it's
very MTV,
cartoonish. Yeah.
It's real MTV.
I think there's, not to compare it, but I think like the setting and the autumnal kind of Utah stuff kind of has shades of I wouldn't say shades of Coen Brothers, but shades of someone who likes the Coen Brothers.
Aye. Well,
that kind of stuff
I'll
as
get
well.
back to that later, but aye.
But so the Angels are played by Delroy Lindo.
Yep, and
Holly Hunter. I remember that being the moment that I fell in love with Holly Hunter.
She's pretty good, isn't it?
Aye, Raising Arizona for me.
Amazing. And
she's such, like, her performance is so physical.
Yeah.
Every element is like not any other actor, but I think most other actors would have taken a fairly straightforward approach to her role. But hers is, she makes it so sensual and like wanting almost at times as well. Like, and she's constantly writhing around, you know.
Well, I think
she didn't need to be at all at any point. I don't think it was really called for.
Well, I was
it was uncalled for, Holly.
There's
but
stuff,
what she done?
The way obviously it's kind of explained, but I can take Findlay's point as well, where it's like you're never really sure where the angels are, because there's a definitely an unhinged element to her. You know, where it's like, are you trying to get them together? Are you just trying to kill them, or what? But obviously there was the whole idea that putting them in jeopardy heightens everything.
And also they kind of mirror the lead characters' entire structures as well. Like their whole behavioural patterns, their dynamic and everything like that, they are essentially mirrors of the leads too, is what I picked up for it this time round. Like, I was always like, I didn't quite get why they acted the way they did, but as the story unfolds, you realise that their scenarios mirror the lead, Cameron Diaz and Ewan McGregor's situation constantly, in terms of like where they are in their relationship too. Like, basically one of them is falling out of love with love. You know, they're like two cupids, basically, these angels, and they have to. The stakes are high for them, in the sense that they don't get back into heaven if they don't.
If they can't get them together, then they don't get back.
They're just
heaven.
mortals. Forever.
They're mortals, and they hate mortality and that plane of existence. But like throughout the as the story unfolds, one's more romantic, Ewan McGregor, than the other, and one persuades the other to be more romantic, and their paths converge, and everything kind of just blows up.
Yeah.
See, the thing, especially with the angels, that I was thinking was, at the start, she's not really like that kind of, because she's very like sexual in it. Like she's very like physical, rides around a lot, really like kind of bends her body quite a lot and all that. But at the start of the film, she's not really like that. So I was thinking it was like, because they are essentially mortals now, it's them falling to the whims of human feelings and emotions,
totally.
and you know what I mean? Because I think Delroy Lindo's character has something like that. Like, obviously he does the poems and that.
There's a line as well when he writes the love letter at the end, when he says "back when I was alive." So there is a sort of suggestion that they were once alive and then became angels.
But so they're kind of like succumbing to like being mortal again and understanding pain and pleasure, and that's why. Because I think
there was call for that. Then I never picked up.
Because I think what is it that kicks it off with her? It's like she does something and she like feels like quite.
She's reading a book.
It's like quite erotic or something, and then she
reading a
feels it, and then
romance.
she spends the rest of the film essentially being like quite heightened and erotic because she's fallen prey to having human emotions and feelings again, rather than being an angel and no huff and all that sort of stuff.
Totally. Aye, that makes sense. Aye, no, you're right. No, it makes sense.
The thing that I laughed at as well was the fact that Heaven's a police station.
It's great, like even in the afterlife, sex workers still get it tight.
It's
like
fucking, it's just
fucking
paperwork,
it's all bureaucratic.
But sorry, that I feel like that comes into the kind of the outsider, because it's all very Hollywood, isn't it?
Aye.
It's all very like painted.
But that's the thing. It's like again, like mirroring the mortal
Sorry, I was
life
going to
as
say
well.
I love that it opens with that conversation. You know, it's like the black screen, and you
Yep.
hear the guy. He's like, "You see that apple? Don't eat that apple." What does she do? What does she do?
Aye.
She
like
shoots an apple off Stanley
the
Tucci's
lives-
seed.
The lives of the mortals mirror the lives of the angels as well, in the sense that it's a bureaucratic nightmare up there, just as it is down here. So like this guy's job's getting taken over by robots, and they're basically
Another thing I was waiting
and
for to pop up
Beetlejuice-
for somebody to be like, "What the fuck, fucking robots?"
Aye. It's like, aye, that was something that I thought of. I'm sure I put in the notes. It's like Brazil for hopefuls.
Yeah, yeah. There's a hint of that actually.
It's like a slacker's fable, basically.
God, it's like it's sort of realizing how predictable my
Really? But I'm sure that was discussed in the production design process. But I think what we were saying earlier about the Coens is like, so there's a lot of correlations between the casting specifically. So you've got Holly Hunter, you've got Tony Shalhoub, you've got, who else have you got?
What's his name? The fella who's also in The Hunger, in charge of the police station.
Dan Hedaya.
Yes.
Aye,
He's in
and
Blood
a
Simple,
couple
isn't
of Blood Simple,
Aye.
and there's a couple others as well. I think maybe one or two.
Oh, I forgot we doubled up on Dan Hedaya.
Aye. Like, so there's that.
His line that always stuck with me for some reason, that just gets in my head all the time, is like, irreconcilable sexual disharmony. Anyway,
Aye, so there's like thematic and tonal similarities to the Coens as well, in terms of like the.
I guess they were at their peak as well.
Yeah.
Like, well, not at their peak, but they were definitely like.
No, well, they were getting Oscars for Fargo and aye.
So like again, like looking at America as a sort of film, then.
But that, to me, I think Life Less Ordinary is just a mishmash of media, and Danny Boyle does this really interesting thing that people like his peers, like Edgar Wright, and that don't necessarily get, excuse the pun, right all the time. Is that the music itself informs the actual tone, the plot, the storyline, whereas with Edgar Wright and others, other peers, like even Tarantino and that, it's more just like a little slice of cool that's put in to make whatever it is that's on screen look a bit cooler. But what Danny Boyle gets right is like, so the intro, for instance, is still like, as soon as it happened, I knew it was coming. Like Sneaker Pimps were playing, and Cameron Diaz is like doing the backstroke in the pool, and it's like this big luscious, the first of many God's Eye views as well, tons of God's Eye shots and that. Like obviously, you know, again, like you would think other lesser like achieved directors would just put in as a stylistic choice, but what Danny Boyle does is he compiles a bunch of really cool styles, but in a meaningful way. So he'll do things like put Sneaker Pimps, at the time, a very like, you know, cool trendy band.
Hey, I still like that tune, man.
No, listen,
a good tune.
I just didn't want to sound ancient. I fucking love the Sneaker Pimps.
Who cares? Cares,
I know, I'm
man.
going to be fucking 40 this year. Piece of fuck. But so you'll compile a bunch of really cool contemporary art, so music, film styles, film makers, actors, and he'll put this all together, and different mediums as well. So like at one point you've got claymation at the end of the film. You've got a musical number. So all these things make sense.
The whole idea of the game show dream
The
as
game
well.
show
and
dream,
all that,
aye. But it all makes sense, and what I think is the combining theme, like the bedrock of the film, is, you know, when they have the monologues to the camera at the end, like they say that love is, what is it, ludicrous? Love is
like
I'm sure it's something along the lines of love is ludicrous.
a hormonal imbalance.
Yeah, and it is like it doesn't make sense. It's chaotic. So like that theme carries through the choice of mishmashing all these styles, you know. And
I guess like cynicism is kind of not the villain, but it's definitely a hope versus cynicism.
That's what holds the protagonist back from achieving their goal. Cynicism in every aspect, you know. But that like I'm sure it's something along the lines of, if not ludicrous, something similar. But it makes sense as to why, like, again, Danny Boyle is one of these filmmakers who every decision he makes is, I believe, carefully thought through and not just a stylistic choice, despite the fact that he's a very stylistic director, you know?
Well, the stylism, like, I think for me, a lot of the physical performance, I think is what I love about this film. A lot of the blocking and just the deliveries and the way people, like, things like the way Ewan McGregor throws the drink in Stanley Tucci's eye and all that sort of stuff. It's so it's so good. Like, I think
Tucci's
I mean,
ripped
again,
as well.
I was about to say that. I was genuinely just about to say, you always forget how cut that guy is, man.
He's got the good, like, Marbella uncle.
I know.
Aye, lives off olives. You're like, you fucker, look at that. That bod, man.
I think, like, one of the things that I guess probably connected me as a wee guy, as you said, like, is just how it's put together physically, and it's I feel like it's hard to even explain, and I don't know if it's just because every movement of the film is burned into my memory, but I feel like the way that the film moves and the way that the people move in the film and, like, really kind of took me.
Everything's
but I think
absurd.
it feels like a big pot of ideas.
Also, like,
This isn't the real world. None
Yeah.
of this film, not even Earth, when they're in Utah, like, you know, when you've got, and I think it's one of these things that, like, I think it was a really clever choice that, like, when you're setting a film against, like, say for instance, another example would be the fucking Christmas film, It's a Wonderful Life. Why did I fucking forget that? Did I mention I'm nearly 40? So in It's a Wonderful Life, you've got heaven portrayed as just a star in the sky, right? And that grounds it a little more closer to reality, but to me, no far enough away. And it's a nice kind of romantic idea, but with this, if you've got, like, scenes set in heaven itself, you go all out. But what do? Do you push heaven in terms of, like, you know, its believability further away for the audience, or do you bring reality a little bit closer to heaven? You know, do you bring him closer to earth? That kind of.
It does feel like
a
sort
make
of
a nice choice to make them the whole thing a bit like again, like, carrying that theme. Love is absurd, and, like, that idea of, you know, the lines kind of blurring and everyone just being a little caricaturish almost, was a really clever choice, because I think if they made it a little too serious and gritty, they could have ended up with excess baggage, you know, that film.
See, the thing as well is, especially for you, Richie, like, I'm got to talk about the soundtrack. Especially with having the soundtrack there as well. Like, the soundtrack isn't just texture. The soundtrack is, like, it gives it this kind of refracts the songs and how cool the bands are to have a different emotion in some of the scenes, and it makes them, I don't know, it makes it feel
that weird remix
so
of
nostalgic.
Leave by R.E.M.
Aye,
it's like a specific, like,
you know,
it's made for
like,
the film.
so see stuff like that. It's like, especially as you were saying, when this film came out, at the age you would have been, these would have probably all been bands that you listened to or liked anyway. So, like, and see, like, the Underworld song, the Faithless song, and all that. And there is obviously a connection to Trainspotting and that, using some of these bands, but there is either some sort of, like, mad through line where he always manages to pick the right songs. Obviously, he'll have a musical supervisor and that, but there's just always something that makes it work, and it makes it feel like, I don't know, it makes it feel less rigid.
We should probably
emotional,
say that, I guess. Aye. It like a more whole piece. Like, there's more intent. Aye. The soundtrack was actually that. I had the. I'll start again. We should say at the time that this came out, to, like, you know, younger listeners, Trainspotting had broken so many boundaries and records in terms of. That was a soundtrack that sold more copies than most bands did.
My mum and dad had it and hadn't seen the film.
Everybody.
It is mad to think, like, if I think
had
back
that
to
soundtrack.
Trainspotting coming out and it being like, I don't know if it was just because in school we were all too young to watch it, but it was so heavily talked about.
Yeah, and the posters were everywhere. Culturally, it was in, and then this was the big.
The fact
like,
that
there's a lot of
follows up Trainspotting is.
Yeah, I know. But, like, it was a big, like, there's a lot. I remember there being a lot of pressure and a lot of folk, like, saying how you got to top this, and then they heard what it was about. And I remember a lot of chat at the time being like, "What the fuck are they doing?" Like, you know, they should just stick to, like, you know, drug films. But I had it was that popular that you could buy the poster for the soundtrack, and I had this on my wall. The poster for the Life Less Ordinary soundtrack is where that was then. You know, the like in terms of how popular the tie-in soundtrack was, because like Pulp Fiction had just came out a couple of years before. 3, aye. So it's 97 Life Less Ordinary. Aye.
It's funny because when you do think of cool soundtracks, you think of sound, like, as you said, it's like bringing current existing stuff, whereas like this was like tie-in, like the Ash single.
The Ash single, they contacted Ash, or Tim Wheeler directly. This is another weird kind of tie to Edgar Wright as well. This is the first Charlotte Hatherley song that she features in.
Yeah. Christ, what is,
And the music video was...
Has he made it to her, like?
He was.
They went out for a few years.
Right, okay.
Because he made a music video for her. I don't know if it's that he made a music video first, but yeah, they went out for a while. That's why Ash are all over the Shaun of the Dead soundtrack, and her mum is in the first. Her mum's in Shaun of the Dead, and
I used to fancy her stinking.
I know
Charlotte.
her mum. Do you know who her mum is?
No.
Remember in the pub? What was it? Coccicidal Maniac.
Aye.
That's her mum.
Oh man. I used to fancy Charlotte something stinking.
That
We all
video,
did, man. We all did.
I even had her solo album and everything.
Oh, our solo album's great.
It is good.
Oh yeah, no,
What's the Spanish? What's the Spanish?
Bastardo.
Bastardo.
The second one,
that's
Deep Blues.
so fucking good.
The second one's really good.
Aye.
Anyway.
She's great.
Charlotte, if you're listening.
Really good song.
Put the oars in.
But I like talking about like it being the big cool thing, right? The music video was even directed by, remember Hammer and Tongs?
Oh shit!
Those guys, and it was Garth Jennings.
Garth Jennings
was
is
one of the guys.
Is Garth Jennings not?
And then he went on.
Is he not just Hammer and Tongs?
No, it's another guy as well.
Not?
He produces a lot of it, and I believe he co-directs a lot of it too. But he never took that. I think he's more production side.
Right.
And he was. I think he was kind of more industry.
He does animation stuff now.
Aye,
he did,
aye.
I didn't realise that was them. Holy shit! But yeah, no, because they
Makes
did.
sense, though,
they did the Blur milk carton one as well.
Coffee and TV and all
Coffee and
that.
TV,
So
that was
like
it.
that's where they were in the zeitgeist as well. So like this film was
This was built to be in FHM.
at the height of like cool
Do you want to
Britannia.
know something mental that I discovered the other day? There is a comic adaptation that ran in 2000 AD.
2000 AD is the other one.
That's
That's
fucking
the other
mental.
cross media thing. That's
It was
what
a
I'm talking
full
about. It's like-
adaptation.
I would like to
so
see
like
that.
so you had that claymation thing, the 2000 AD tie-in, and like the fact that even the character choices as well. To get back to the actual film, Cameron Diaz is like a Howard Hawks character, so she's carrying that whole like Howard Hawks His Girl Friday theme that carries through the film. You know, the old-fashioned romantic comedy, and I think that a big part of that comes through her, and she's great in it. And Ewan McGregor's like that. He's an author, so like he speaks eloquently, and like almost like nobody speaks like that, but it's fine because it's a life less ordinary, and he's an author.
Well,
so
it's
that's
a
why
wee bit.
he speaks with
There's a
that
wee bit
eloquence.
of the Baz Luhrmann's about it all. There's something about the like I can't think. There's something a wee bit Baz Luhrmann-y, like, and obviously because of the Utah desert and all that. I was thinking a lot of like Oliver Stone and stuff too. There's that kind of like we feel it. I don't know what the 90s were obsessed with the desert for.
Aye,
Like, you know
Utah.
what I mean? Aye, like Utah and Red Rock West.
Maybe they were just
all
because
that
they were
Yeah.
probably easy to film in, but also like
Quite
easy and cheap to
cinematic.
film in, but also really
Stick
grand,
a wide
yeah.
lens on it, man. I'm getting an
Utah,
old caddy.
Utah looks fucking amazing as well.
Yeah.
Like that scene
Well,
where they're hitchhiking down the.
I was listening to some interviews with Ewan McGregor, right, and I couldn't find any article on what he actually says. But in the interview that he does, he apologises for something that he said about Utah. So I think when they were filming at Utah, he probably says like, "This is a shithole." But even in the interviews, like, he's like, I think some of my words got taken into context. I really do like Utah, but it's tough because Utah is fucking weird. And it's like, he just says it again.
So I watched the DVD. Fuck me, the DVD menu for this. Unreal. It gives you the choice of what ratio you watch it in. It's that old, you know.
Oh, that's tiny.
And like, you know, when,
Are you watching it on the kitchen telly or the big telly in the living room?
and like, see, navigating through the menu, Jesus Christ, it's just like you're as well just ducking and rolling, man. So
does it have a weird motion animation of the?
it didn't. No, it was one of the still ones, but because it was polygram, so they didn't really dabble much in
Did it
it.
have cast and crew filmographies?
The cast and crew interviews, no less. So I watched a few of them, right? And see when each actor is. So what was it like working with Ewan McGregor? Cameron Diaz's face lights the fuck up. Likewise, with Ewan McGregor as well. What was it like working with Cameron? No, obviously he's like a guy.
Well, you know, what was it? We were watching the film the other night, and I was like, there was a wee bit, and I was like, there's two actors that like kissing each other.
The chemistry.
See the bank robbery kiss.
Oh, the
big
slabbery, the stringy slabber kiss.
Oh boy.
I know, but like I was fucking.
Yeah.
Leg gone like a wee dog.
Aye, and it was great because obviously, like, you know, Lifeless Ordinary, the song was playing at the time,
Aye.
the robbery happens and the kiss happens, and it's a big payoff. Like it works really well. And you believe them as well. You believe they're actually in each other.
What I will say is, Ewan McGregor's hair in this. That fucking dude stinks, man.
It does,
He looks like fucking Wurzel Gummidge.
It looks like Wurzel Gummidge if he wants to speak to the manager.
It is totally like cut with a knife and fork type hair.
You know what I
His
mean?
shorts,
Cameron
though.
Diaz, I know.
The shorts are great.
Shorts are
Everything
incredible.
works. He does look like some sort of like guy that works in a 70s second-hand shop. You know what I mean? But the hair.
And listens to Oasis.
Singing Round Our Way. Well, that's what he says in that interview today. Shut up, you. That's what he says in that interview today. The woman's just like, "Who's your favourite band?" And he's like, "Oasis. I'm obsessed with Oasis. They're the best band. They're the only band I listen to."
Oh wow.
It's like, fucking right on, man. And he sings Round Our Way. It's not on the soundtrack though, I don't know. Oasis Round Our Way.
Is it not in the CD?
No,
Is it? No, is it?
I'm sure it
Oh, I
is.
thought it wasn't. Oh, maybe it is. It's a great song.
I can't. I'm thinking about the poster. I'm looking at the poster in my mind's eye.
That's a good song though. Come on, there.
No, it's
Round
not.
Our Way. It is.
You know what? That was the point I was opening up to. Definitely when I heard that song, I was like,
It's good.
But again,
It works.
it's like if you put a song in a film and you really love the film, and then it really opens you up to
I
the.
was going to say, it could be fucking Reet Petite. That's in the film, you'd be like, okay, Reet Petite's actually alright.
Reet Petite, that's alright. Reet Petite's a fucking classic. I'll not have any Jackie Wilson slander. I will not.
Fuck, just thinking about that robbery scene to Reet Petite.
I like,
It's that build for ages. And they goes.
what about
That'd work.
Cameron Diaz's singing voice?
Oh, everything.
It's
See, I can't.
Fucking hell. What is it with Danny Boyle and karaoke bits? Is he obsessed with humiliation?
I'm there. I'm for it.
I want to talk about the Jeopardy scene because I think that's one of my favourites.
Oh, right, aye.
And just how it all plays out, and just how good Holly Hunter is when she's chewing on puts the shoves the tobacco in her mouth, and oh god, I just want to mention it because I fucking love it.
Aye.
And the way that her knee comes up on the bonnet.
Aye.
Oh
Aye,
my
that's
god.
great. That is so good. She's fucking great, man. So
Yeah, she's fucking. She's
Who
She's
is
great
it?
in everything.
Who's the hitchhiker? Is it Timothy Oliphant?
Timothy Oliphant.
This
aye,
young laddie.
That's right.
Because I was reading an interview with him today, and he says that Holly Hunter was like a really big inspiration for him for this film. He was like it was like because I think he was just starting out acting, and he was like, I learnt from her. I watched her do all her stuff and that, and he was like, she basically
Well, that makes sense.
urged me into just doing acting full time and just going
He's
for
very
it. 'cause of her.
expressive.
Aye.
Oh wow.
I was like, good for you. And then he'd be in Scream 2 or Scream 1.
Scream 2 or Scream 2
Scream
then
2.
Go, and then that was him pretty much.
Here, you want to hear my lifeless ordinary pun?
Go for it.
I don't think it's a pun. It's wordplay. Because I thought it was wordplay on lifeless ordinary. Because his ordinary life is.
No, aye. A lifeless ordinary. Is it
Maybe.
not an expression, no? A lifeless
Oh,
ordinary?
aye.
Right,
but I also
okay.
thought that word is.
Do you know-
it's a
double
lifeless
meaning.
ordinary.
Aye,
Do you know what I literally just got today?
Adaman is
Free Willy.
free will.
Free Will.
Free will. Right.
Free Willy.
Free will, eh? It's an Edinburgh film.
Free Willy.
It's Free will, eh?
I don't know if that is. I've never seen Free Willy, but
There you know, we've got 3 to watch. Gets recaptured twice. He doesn't deserve to be free.
Was it Michael Jackson done the song tie-in for 2?
Did he?
Aye,
Did
it's
he?
a sequel. One
Free
either
Willy
2 or
2,
3.
Sonic 3. What's it up to?
Also, honourable mention for Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub. He's just at that point in his career where every time he appeared in something, he only appeared briefly and then
Aye.
was amazing.
Aye.
He was like the line about
Pre-Monk.
he says, whether or not she's your type is not something you'll have to resolve in this world. An issue you'll have to resolve in this, or indeed the next. Because she'll be going to heaven for glamorous pussy and you'll be cleaning the floor of a diner in hell.
Aye.
He's fucking so...
Aye,
Because we watched Men in
Aye,
Black.
he's
We
great.
watched Men in Black the other day as well, and I was like, oh, there he is. I forgot.
Oh,
He's amazing. And
the
the
that
scared,
stings.
the scared taxi driver in Quick Change as well.
Aye.
And of course, all of Monk.
A monk, yes.
And
Galaxy Quest.
Barton Fink?
He's no, he's in The Man Who Wasn't There, and he has an incredible monologue in that,
Is it
and
not like a
it's one of the
studio head or
beautifully
something?
shot, most beautifully shot scenes in the Coen's back catalogue, in that prison, you know, and all the lighting on him. And, stunning.
I'm sure he's. I thought he was in Barton Fink as like a studio heat or something, but maybe.
Oh, he might be.
Somebody else.
He might be.
Maybe thinking of somebody else, by the way. But I do love your tone. Your
But
tone.
listen, sorry, can I just interrupt us here for a word for our sponsor?
Alright.
You all right that? Right, okay. We'd like to thank our special Valentine's Day sponsor, Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a small, chewable tablet guaranteed to make you harder than the last level of Gremlins 2 on the NES. Do you feel like you've been trying to post a lasagna through a letterbox? Is each shag as short as your average Bad Brains song? Or do you, like me, simply suffer from fanny fright? Then flop no more. Send Blue Chew to your door. Certified by the actual NHS, Blue Chew is a safe way to bring confidence back into the bedroom. You'll be riding for hours and smiling like a gormless prick as you do. Another advantage of Blue Chew is that it's shipped in discreet packaging, so even your nosy bastard postie won't know you've been drilling mortar with wet fusilli. Join the revolution and have a hard-on us. Use Namaste, that's Namaste at checkout, and you'll receive a free trial pill through your door.
You'll receive a verbal warning.
We've all had ours, and each one of us can vouch, can't we, boys?
This table's got no legs.
Remember, flop no more. Send Blue Chew to your door.
Did you actually get a Blue Chew sponsorship for us, or is
Didn't
that?
I?
Is Blue Chew a real thing?
Aye,
Aye,
it is,
man,
aye.
in case you're hard on.
Aye, it is, aye. It's actually real.
Do you chew it?
Aye, it's a small chewable tablet. Pop it in your gob. Apparently, I mean, so I've heard.
Why would you want to chew it?
It's
swallow it
called,
whole
in
like
case,
a round?
I think
It's
it's like a
flavoured.
thing like you're on the go. You've just chatted up.
You're on
a
the
bit.
go. You've had your chewable Eddies. Ba 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 ba
You buy
ba.
a
Trying to
Blue
mix
Chew
them up.
in
You're a
there.
man about town. You're about to miss your bus. Oh, I need to have a hard on before I go into work.
I don't think imagine mixing them up with your Frutella.
I like the idea you get somebody hung out. You got any paracetamol? Aye.
It's the worst thing you need, man. Bare hard-ons.
A hung out hard on.
That's exactly the sort of sponsorship we'd get as well.
Well, it's a special Valentine's Day sponsor. So.
Can you no get it up because you're listening to film podcasts all day?
Has your libido depleted because you've been listening to three Scottish guys talk
Have you
about
got-
Cameron Diaz?
There you go, sit down, bum. That's square.
Arse like two pancakes.
Aye. Right, well, that was...
Sorry. I'm going to do a keyword roundup.
Oh,
Keyword roundup.
it's back.
So a keyword roundup.
Sponsored by Hims.
Sponsored by Mitsubishi. So keyword roundup is just go to the IMDb page and finding the 10 best keywords that relate to the films that we're talking about.
Okay.
This one is a lifeless
I'm
ordinary.
excited.
So we've got number 1, janitor. Huh?
Aye,
Number
alright.
2, reference to JFK. Number 3, biting leg.
Oh yeah, when he's been attacked by the.
Number 4, fake bomb. Number 5, switchblade. Number 6, man wears a kilt. Number 7, robot vacuum cleaner. Number 8, jilted man. Jilted man, my new band. Number 9, tequila shot. And number 10, claymation sequence.
Right, I get it.
The claymation sequence
No.
tacked on at the end, wasn't it?
Right, no, but I'm thinking more like
The keywords.
jilted man makes sense. Robotic vacuum cleaner.
Aye.
I suppose now that
Well, you're wondering
Roombas are
how
a
many
thing.
robotic.
how many
vacuum-
robotic vacuum cleaners are there to merit a keyword?
Oh,
You
come
know.
on. That's that.
What was-
See,
what was the
you'll
second
find
or
it.
third one?
You'll find it soon enough that keywords are just there for people to search kinks.
Oh no, that's what I was going to say. So what's this? Leg biting,
Biting leg.
biting leg. Somebody
Or
said
somebody just. I chugged to a Janny.
We've all been there.
Nothing better than an overall.
Just the sound of keys jingling gets me.
I chugged to a jilted man.
Sight of
So does
sawdust.
he.
Sight of sawdust is the only thing that puts blood in it nowadays. Besides Blue Chew.
Come through.
Blue Chew. Sounds like a fucking Pokemon.
The only other 2 notes I've got are McGregor's hair, my god, and Cameron Diaz's arse. Which is objectifying both of them in completely opposite ways, I suppose. And I'm sorry.
The 90s are back.
Oh no, thank fuck.
Read of the year. Bring back FHM. I want to see watches.
I want to see porno likes.
Who was the
I want to
last?
see the shapes and beer glasses made by the bubbles. Mind they used to do that.
Aye.
I want to see Stella Artois tattoos.
I want to smell pages of magazines that smell like.
Yep. Davidoff.
Smell like your dad's
Diesel.
fingers.
You've been uploaded again, haven't you? How can you tell?
I
Your
never-
fingers smell like diesel.
I never had the confidence to be an FHM teenager, so I stuck with fucking Sonic the Comic instead.
See, my dad was an FHM
Oh,
loaded
right, okay.
zoo nuts guy.
Really?
So
I had a pal.
Max Power.
I had
I
a-
had them all.
Yeah, I had a pal who always got FHM, and I always used to be like, God, your mum just let you get this.
Are you eating them? You eating them after you're reading them?
I had one. There was one. No, 2. Sorry, there were 2 lasses up in my wall. That was it. The rest of it was all film and music and comics, boarded comics. It was Drew Barrymore.
Alright.
And the singer for Snake River Conspiracy.
Jesus Christ! Where's the dignity there? That's rough.
You had that back.
I only had one.
My wife.
I only had one. Willow for Buffy.
Fuck! Oh, aye. Unbelievable! I'm getting.
That was my one as well.
Yes, let's see.
That was my one.
That's what you're after.
Right, I'll see you later.
I had a Buffy poster for a wee while, but I put the Willow poster over the top of it. Didn't even take it down because I was like, I didn't want to put it anywhere. Oh, aye right. There goes the Bluetooth sponsorship.
Slat away. It should be accidental fart. Nearly 40. Opa.
So, right, well, let's bring part 1 to a close. But I enjoyed revisiting it.
I like it.
it's
It's like,
been a while.
I know
I
it made
should-
it made
I
it
should
sound
say-
like I wasn't big on it, but I thought I really enjoyed my time watching it, and it is kind of built like just hundreds of different TV spots smashed together.
Yeah.
But that's basically its charm.
I think that was intended as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Aye. But I mean, and it's so good. Like, you forget sometimes how much, like, you enjoy just charismatic actors as well. Like
Aye.
Ewan McGregor. Like,
That's a
you
big
know,
part of it, for
he's-
sure, yeah.
It's disgusting how charming that man
Yeah.
is, and Cameron Diaz
Even when
as
he's
well.
been hapless.
Aye, totally.
I know.
Aye.
funny story in terms of reactions to it. I watched it with a girlfriend years ago, and 20 minutes into it, she was like, "I don't think I like this." 40 minutes into it, she was like, "Turn this off." She made me turn it off.
Oh, what?
But what was happening 45 minutes in?
No, it was something else was going on.
Buffy. Fucking Buffy, wasn't it?
Turn this off.
Just you sliding that out and pitting Brazil in.
The worst thing is she loved it, I know. Now this is it. Alright.
Right, well, that was part 1 of Love. Join us next time when we'll be discussing. What will we be discussing?
We're going to be discussing David Lean's 1945 film A Brief Encounter. Or just Brief Encounter, sorry. Just Brief Encounter, not A Brief Encounter. Brief Encounter, yeah.
Okay. We're going to be classing it up.
It's an awfully long title. They're deciding on the title in the title.
Brief Encounter, long title. Sorry. Right, well, yeah. Good
Cheers.
to be back.
Thanks, everybody.
Speak to you
Good to
soon.
be
Thanks
back,
for
man.
listening.
Yep. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.